Hey everybody, it's Andy here over here with my side of the fence. And I'm here today with Tim Demeria. He is the Commissioner of the Revenue for the city of Manassas. It's an elected position. It's a little different than city council because it is a constitutional officer, right, Tim?
Correct, with no policy making positions.
Right. So there's that. We're going to cover it like we usually do today. And so, just a little bit of background. I've known Tim since about 1981, something like that.
No, I was still in high school, so I was in the late 70s.
Late 70s?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how long I've known Tim. So Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where'd you grow up? How'd you get here?
Well, I was born in Duluth, Minnesota. And
I did not know that.
Okay. Well, we moved to the Washington area when I was 7. My father was an executive for the Teamsters Union, or became an executive for the Teamsters Union. He was a labor organizer when we lived in Duluth. And then we moved here. He sold the house in Duluth, couldn't find a place here. Well, by the time we moved here, so we lived in Jimmy Hoffa's apartment for about 4 months, I believe it was, through Christmas. And then we bought a house.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know how much we're going to get into that. And my brother has more stories on that than I do because he's a little bit older. There might not be some of the greatest stories in the world that should be told. Then we moved to Rockville until high school, and then we moved here. And I spent high school here and have been
all
here
4 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. When I got here, my class was at Osborne Park. My class had freshman and sophomore year at Osborne Park because Osborne had not opened yet. Actually, Osborne Park had just opened our freshman year. And then my class was there for freshman and sophomore year. And then we moved over to Osborne. And I haven't left yet. I've been at Osborne ever since, when in one aspect or another, between being a student, a fan, a volunteer, a school board member, and now I'm back to being a fan. Tomorrow night is a away game, so scrimmage. I'll be going to that. I don't miss too many games or events. It's really cool going to events that your kids are not actually in. Even in like if you go to an elementary school now, you don't have to worry about your daughter screwing up or lifting up her dress or whatever she's doing in second grade. You can just enjoy it. So I really prefer going to school events as opposed to sitting home watching TV.
Right. So you've been in Manassas since
76.
you were in high school.
Yeah. And part of Osborne the whole time. And,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And like you, I love it being here. I really, truly love this town. I like going places. My wife taught in and around Manassas, excuse me, for 37 years.
As a teacher?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And she's retired now for 2 years. But going out and about, when people know me, it's okay. But when they ask me, are you Mrs. Demeria's husband? It's like, yeah, because at that point, I know I'm a good guy.
Right.
There might be some people that don't think I'm a great guy being me, but being Mrs. Demeria's husband, and now I'm Miss Demeria's father because my daughter's teaching at Baldwin, and so we get those as well. So I like riding their coattails. They're very good people. And, Sue's made the biggest difference in my life, obviously.
Sure.
And we had our 2 girls here. They'd both gone K-12 through the school system. Anna, when she first got out of WVU with her master's degree, she came back to work. And I told her I will not run for school board if she wants to get a job here. And she said, no, I want to get a job on my own. Sue had just won the Agnes Meyer Award.
Right.
And so she went to Manassas Park and taught there for, I believe, 9 years. And then the state changed the law to where we could hire family members.
Oh, that was actually against the law.
Yeah, it was against the law.
Okay.
And it still should be. I've lobbied against allowing us to do that, but it did pass. And so Anna decided to come back to Manassas. So she's been here, I guess, 6 or 7 years now. And she's the Manassas Education Association president. So she's very involved, lives on Main Street, and she does a great job. And she makes me proud when people know I'm her dad.
Right.
I did a event at Baldwin to where, a job fair sort of thing for the kids.
Sure.
And when her class came up, she was at a event, so she wasn't there that day. And when they found out who I was just really cool at that point. So, it's really nice when your family makes you cooler than you really are.
Right.
Which is not difficult for my family to make me cooler than I really am. But it's really nice being in this town and knowing people, and you've got a guy for that, and you've got a guy for this, and people come to you when you want to get your car fixed. Where do you go?
Right.
I just had somebody just now.
Oh, that's fabulous.
It is. I love being home. I love being home.
Like you put it on Facebook, like, hey, I've got a plumbing problem. Who do you call?
Right.
The usual suspects, Crouch and 2 or 3 others, and that's just who you call.
That's funny though. I just had the call, and I just sent them to Crouch.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's we were chatting before. Like Tim and I were in an organization called DMLA for a while together. It's, I guess the best way to describe it is it's associated with the Masonic Lodge, but it's an organization for younger men. And basically Tim and I played softball together for a couple of years. Yeah. But then something that I feel like a lot of people don't know is that you spent a lot of time running a sod farm.
I was selling real estate. I was on those coattails with my brothers, and he got me lots of work, and we were doing great. And I did a lot of golfing first thing in the morning because, you don't do a lot of real estate at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I've always been an early riser. And so a buddy of mine that owned a sod farm, or his father owned a sod farm, asked if I could help him out in the mornings. I said, sure, and so I went out and harvested sod, and it was very hard work, but kind of cool. And he only did it till 10 o'clock. And then I went back, showered, and went to my appointments.
Right.
And then one afternoon, Craig said, if you were free this afternoon, we need somebody to help us mow. And I said, yeah, actually, I don't have anything this afternoon. So I got on the mower, and it was a beautiful spring day in 1984. And I'm still living at home, so I didn't have to make a whole lot of money. And the sky was blue, and the clouds were white, and the grass was gorgeous, and I'm riding around on this tractor with my shirt off, getting a tan. I was a whole person ago, but I fell in love.
Yeah.
And by the end of the year, I was hooked, and I quit selling real estate, and I worked on the sod farm then for 37 more years.
Damn.
So 38 years. Yeah. And we progressed through a lot of different things, from harvesting sod by hand to getting the automatic sod harvester. And,
right.
And when I went to that job thing at Baldwin, the commissioner of the revenue is kind of boring, and second graders really don't care about it.
No.
But as I was going through, I would throw in a picture of the farm. And this is what I used to do. I want to let you know that, if you decide it was a career day,
sure.
If you want to have a different career, you don't have to be locked into the same thing forever. And no, the tractor pictures, that was a game winner right there. They didn't like the pictures of, a tax collector, but they liked the idea of farming. And it's still to this day, when you're out and about and people find out that that's what you did, they're intrigued by it, and they want to hear about it. Yeah. So that's what you discuss when you meet new people and they found out you were a sod farmer. They want to know all the ins and outs about it.
So is the sod farm still operating?
No.
Craig
and I were getting old. It was just the two of us.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And we had 140 acres, 2 guys. Since 2007 to 2021, we had 2 guys, just us. And, the stress was really, really difficult.
I bet.
because you have to worry about the economy, you have to worry about the weather, you have to worry about equipment. We had no mechanics. We didn't have bookkeepers.
Right.
It was all on the two of us. And so we were going to retire at the end of 22. Well, at the beginning of 21, or the end of 20, actually, I think it was maybe, rumor started that our Commissioner of the Revenue, Doug Waldron, was thinking about not running.
Yeah.
And I told my family about it. I asked them, and I asked Craig about it, and my partner, Craig, at the sod farm. And, if Doug doesn't run, I'm going to run. Well, it lingered into the beginning of 21.
Right.
And Doug hadn't made a decision. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I have to do it now. So the first person I called was Doug. I called Doug Waldron, and because I didn't want to, I've known Doug almost as long as I've known you, and I wasn't going to do that to him.
Right.
And I let him know that I was thinking about that I was running, and it was shortly thereafter that he decided he wasn't going to run.
Yeah.
And so that's how I ended up doing this. But that's how we ended up closing the sod, because I went to Craig and I said, okay, if I win this in November of 21,
can't do both.
Well, I thought I could. But Craig and I are polar opposites. I handled the people. I handled the sales. I handled the harvesting. He did everything else.
Okay.
And he didn't want to handle the people.
Right.
Because I had told him, we don't start work in the commissioner's office till 8:30 in the morning.
Right.
The day's half over for me.
Right.
And I said, you can take orders. They can email orders in. I can come in the morning at 4:30, harvest all the sod. It'll all be ready for you. And then I don't want to deal with people. No. So we quit at the end of 21 rather than the end of 22. And the inventory that we had, Craig maintained it and then sold it to another sod farm. And we're rather small, high quality, low volume.
Right.
And they harvested it out quickly. And now Jay Yankee of Yankees Farms, he grows pumpkins and watermelon and strawberries and pick your own. And
so it's a farm.
It is a farm, yeah, so that they can keep it in farm use.
Right.
So I've always been a part of farm use when I was a farmer, and now that I'm a commissioner, I know about it, but we don't have any farm use in the city anymore. We used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a couple of farms in the city limits.
Sure.
But you first ran for school board, right?
In 06.
And then how many terms on the school board?
4, almost 4.
Damn.
I won this position, so it was 3 and 3/4, so 15 and a half years. I was on.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and that's like I was telling you earlier. A lot of people say it's a thankless job, and it really isn't. I've got lifetime friends now that were students.
Right.
I've got a couple that we expelled.
Yep.
And we stuck with them. I stuck with them. They came back. They got reinstated, and that's a relationship I'll have for the rest of my life.
Sure.
Because they've turned themselves around.
Right.
And then all of the other kids at school, which I still go, I'm still there a lot, but I feel like being on school board, I made a difference in somebody's life. I still drive by some of the houses that I know where our sod went to, and it looks great.
Right.
And I can take a little bit of pride in that. It's got nothing compared to the kids.
People, yeah.
My wife and my daughter, they make a difference in somebody's life forever. I used to tell the teachers, I said, you think about it. I still do things. When I throw away a sheet of paper, if I'm not shooting it like a 16-year-old,
right,
like I still am a lot of times,
right,
you don't crumble it up. You leave it flat, because Mr. Rye in 5th grade told me that you get more in the trash can if you don't crumble it up.
Right.
He wasn't a spatial engineer or anything. And he was probably 30 years old when he told me that.
Right.
He's, as dumb as we are, but I still do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you are making a difference in an adult's life that you'll never know it.
Yeah. On the council,
and I wanted something like that.
On the council, there's not a lot of that. On a case by case, like someone will show up for citizens time, and
Right.
they'll be like, my water bill is too damn high or whatever, and maybe you can work with them on that.
Right.
But it doesn't, not directly
but
have that sort of impact.
it's, and when you're on school board, the next thing people want you to do is run for council.
Right.
And there was no chance of that. I'm a school guy.
Right.
That's what I wanted to be.
I would have been
And
shocked if you were running for council.
Yeah, there was no chance of that. But the council members make a huge difference. You made a huge difference. People may not appreciate all the things you've done. Old Town is the way it is now because you lit a match down there, and things that you've done do matter. It's just not quite as you don't have a kid that you made a
not
difference.
as direct.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
it's not as direct, but
for me,
it's still a lot.
The two biggest things I did in council was to, Loy Harris was the OG when it came to the pavilion and all of that. But those efforts had, they kind of dried up some. And so we did the Battle Street thing and then the funding deal for the school. And I did that almost on the way out the door.
Right. But, and this council, I have such respect for you guys because it's just like the military. They're doing something I wasn't willing to do.
Right.
And if I'm not willing to do it, and, when I got out of high school, I actually thought about going in the military, but I also thought that, boot camp has to be harder than 2-a-day football practices. And that nearly killed me. So that deterred me from that.
That was not a thing.
And now I've heard from different guys that went into the military, no, actually 2-a-days was harder for me. But then the other guys that say actually 2-a-days was easier than this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I'm kind of glad I didn't to this point.
I mean,
but
I feel the same way about the school board position. It always, I don't know how the current council, what their meeting schedules, if they have committees. Honestly, I know none of that anymore. But I know that on our busy weeks, we were out 4 nights a week.
Oh, yeah.
But they were just meetings like in City Hall. They were not things that we were going to and interacting with a ton of people because I could not do that. That school board, like you guys go to the events at the different schools, when the school year starts, you go to the welcome days and stuff like that.
Talk to teachers and
Is there a
parents.
chance I could do that job? I'm not that social.
I guess I am.
I'm just
because
not.
I still do it.
I do.
Oh yeah. Like I say, I'm going tomorrow night to the football game,
Right.
and whatever's going on, and I'll go to some of these chorus things, and I don't sing, I could never do that. I never played an instrument, but I go just to show support, and sometimes it's like, I guess I'll go over, and then when you're there, I can't leave. I'll go over for a little. They're so damn good that I can't leave, and it's the best night of the week when you go over there. So
cool.
If you've got nothing else to do, or even if you do have something else, if a show is on, DVR it, and go to the chorus concert or to the plays that they do. Yeah, it's just incredible what they do over there, and it's so much fun. And even at Mets and the elementaries, when they've got a small program going on, the kids are so damn cute. Yeah, that it's just fun to watch and support. And
so why did you decide to run for commissioner?
Well, because Craig,
that's a way different job, right?
Than
school board.
But I was also, the school board helped me tremendously knowing the interactions of the city and how things worked politically. And, I had a lot of contacts in the city after, living here forever and being on school board for 15 years before I, did this. What was the question? Why did I do this?
Why, you were on the school board, and I worked with you. I was on council when you were on school board, and we worked together on some of those things hand in hand. So what was it about the commissioner of the revenue job that interested you? Because it's a whole different job.
Well, when Craig and I was too young to retire.
Okay.
And so I started looking for other jobs that, I wanted to do after Craig and I quit farming.
I get it.
Everything that interested me was agriculture related, or schools related, and in sales. Because believe it or not, that's what I was good at interacting with people.
Right.
And most of that was traveling to other areas, because there's not a whole lot of stuff in one area, so
Right.
you have to travel.
Sure.
And the number of hours I investigated would have not allowed me to be on school board, so I was going to have to leave school board, and I didn't.
Right.
And I love working for this city. I love working for the constituents. And then Doug was thinking about not running,
Right.
and that's managing an office.
Yeah.
And I know how to do those sort of things. And so I took a shot, and you always want to win.
Sure.
You're in your city.
I mean, that's your thing, right?
And you want to win.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
I won. And if I had lost, I'd have still been on school board. I'd have found another job of some sort to keep me busy. We didn't, we're not destitute by
because that sweet $12,000 salary on school board.
On school board, boy, that was done. But I still was going to be able to work with my community.
Right.
And I'm getting close to that same reward in this job.
That's cool.
So I wanted to win in 21. I'd be devastated because we're working really hard. We're knocking doors already. We're doing everything we're supposed to do. I'm now a master commissioner. I spent a lot of time away from home.
So like training and classes and stuff?
Yep.
So did you
have to be in the commissioner's office for 3 years. Most people can't get it done in 3 years. I did. So
is that like a program through like a community college or like the
UVA, Weldon Cooper?
School?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a pretty big deal. You got to get a lot of points. You got to take a lot of classes. And the best advice I got for this job was from Doug Waldron. And he said, get involved with the association. And I was part of the association, the School Board Association,
right,
of International Sod Growers Association. I was the Virginia rep, on the international board, and did a lot of things with different associations. Nothing like these guys.
Yeah.
These guys, they're nonpartisan. We have strong Republicans, strong Democrats, and all we're focusing on is getting it right. Not getting it high, not getting it low, not bringing in more revenue, not saving the tax.
Because it's got to be credible.
It's got to be right. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Fair and equitable and correct. And so he said to get involved with the Commissioners Association. Well, I got a call. Would you like to be on the Veterans Committee? I said, sure, for veterans relief. And then that same week, I got a call from the vice president of the association. I'd like you to be the chairman of the Veterans Committee. I said, well, Mark, I've never been on a committee with this. Oh, and it's okay. It's okay. It was the greatest thing that happened to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the committee members there are, some of they get their license plates. And I think one is a 1 and one is a 3. They've been on this in the commissioner's office for forever.
Yeah.
And that has been such a great help between that and the classes I've taken, being the chairman of the Veterans Committee and making a difference in veterans' lives has just been huge. And then they came to me and we need a chairman for the Northern District.
You got to stop volunteering.
Well, it's the same as you. When you open your mouth,
yeah,
and you're there, and hey, how about this guy? There's a big guy over in the corner. He keeps talking.
Yeah.
And so I was that for 2 years. Luckily, there's term limits on that, so I got rid of that. But making those connections, and if I've got a situation to where I'm not sure whether this person's supposed to pay B-poll or not,
right,
I can call somebody.
Sure.
This veteran came in and he's got this and this and this at first. And now I would consider myself an expert in that now after nearly 3 years of being the chairman. But I would call Jamie down in Powhatan.
Right.
He knows everything.
Right.
Or Mitch in Lynchburg, and they've got the answer. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who to call directly, you put out an email to the whole association and you get flooded with answers, and then the discussion goes on and we come up with the right answer.
Right.
And I these guys are just so helpful.
Those local government trade associations,
Yeah.
man, I learned so much at VML the first time I went down there. I was a complete skeptic too. I was like,
Me
it's
too.
cool. We're going to go to Hampton or no, it was in Roanoke. And I was like, all right, that's cool. It's a sleepy little town, whatever.
Yep.
And I mean, I got my ass kicked down there. I learned a ton.
Well, that's because we were so ignorant when we went the first time.
Yeah.
You know, when we'd go to the sod meetings or the turf meetings. But by the time I've done this 35 years,
Right.
You know, now I'm just there as a social thing.
Right.
You know, but even with school board and now with this, it wasn't so. It was social. I mean, these are my friends now.
Sure.
But so much learning in the classes, so much learning in the halls, and there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And I love learning it. I love doing the job, and I love, you know, Doug gave me that advice, but the other thing he gave me was a staff, which is pretty much still intact, that is, works very hard on, customer service.
Yeah.
And I can say my girls because they're all females.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be sexist here, but that's who I've got. They are so good at helping our people, and they're so kind.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy who says, you know, you're prettier when you smile. My daughters and my wife would never let me get away with that.
No.
But I do it, and I ask them to do it. When you answer the phone, smile and answer the phone.
Right.
Because you can hear the smile through the phone.
Sure.
You know, and if you're in a terrible mood, force yourself to smile.
Yeah.
You can't stay in quite as bad a mood. You might still be in a bad mood, but not as bad.
Yeah.
And it helps you deal with people. And
people call because they have a problem, right?
Yeah.
They don't call. Well, we were just chatting before we started recording. You know, I run an IT consulting business. People don't call me because their computers are just sailing along.
Right.
Hey, just wanted to check in. You know, let you know everything's great. I mean, you're in the same business.
They've got a problem, and be nice. And I don't have to tell these people to be nice because they are. But we've pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and they are just. I'm blessed with the people that work in this office. I am losing my business license person. Lucy Pullen is running for commissioner in Manassas Park.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and she's running unopposed.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So she's gone.
Right. You know when she's leaving at least.
Yeah, that's right. And so we've, actually they're talking about bringing her on early for training and stuff.
Is it vacant right now?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
They just want some overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, when I came in, I had Terry Martin was my chief deputy, and I know this name, and because I looked it up, you know, when I was running, and we were at Osmond Park together.
Oh,
and she stayed there. We graduated in '79. Her from Osmond Park, me from Osborne. So we had been across, and we know a lot of the same people.
Right.
And she had just won the Deputy of the Year award for the state.
Wow.
So that helped me so much.
Sure.
But the first thing she told me when I went in there was, the end of May 2025, I retire. I said, okay, that's fine. I have you for 4. Oh, that's my reelection year. I said, why don't you wait till 26? All of my finance, everything, I've got it all planned out. May 2025. Okay. So, I went and asked for overlap to hire somebody.
Right.
I didn't get very many good applicants.
No?
No, I got one that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then I got this applicant of the lady I hired now. And I can continually give her a hard time for not applying last December because she is just killing it.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. You know, and I'm so worried that I got to do all of this campaigning and run the office and do the, you know, the work of the chief deputy, because my new chief deputy is brand new.
Right.
Oh my goodness. She's just so helpful. It's like hitting the lottery with her.
That's fantastic.
Yes. It makes all the difference in the world. And the rest of the staff is just great. They really are.
Most of them have been there for a minute, haven't they?
Oh yeah. I've got, Lucy, who's leaving 25 years. A couple of them are pushing 30.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's good for the citizens.
it is. They know what they're doing, and they don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
And they know that our goal is not to, like assessments on houses and stuff, is not to assess high. We need to assess correctly. And I could tell by the number of appeals we get and the number of board cases that go to the Board of Equalization.
Yeah.
And so far, my assessors under since I've been in office haven't lost any of them.
Is that right?
Right. And
when I was in council, I really didn't. I have heard of people feel like, well, the commissioner of the revenue just adjusts his assessments a certain percentage to fund council priorities. Now, I don't really hear that here in Manassas.
Right.
I've heard it down in Colonial Beach and a couple of other places, but I never heard it about who was in that job. Rosika, when I was in office, commissioner of the revenue. Yeah.
John Lewis. He left council to go on.
That was never even like a consideration.
Nope.
We had the finance committee had a meeting with the commissioner, and we're like, all right, what's the deal?
Yep.
Well, here's what's going to happen. And we're like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the way it went.
Well, I've got a FOIA in right now.
Oh, do you?
They want to know for our data center, what influence did council have on the assessment? And they want all the emails that I went between me and council,
Right.
Working on the assessments. Well, I can give them all to you right now because it's zero.
Oh.
They have no influence on my office whatsoever. My suite is locked. And that's, we were discussing earlier about, should this be a elected position or a hired position?
Oh, right.
This is a case where if they come to me and they want me to do something different, no.
It's kind of a Chinese wall.
It is.
In between you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
and they bring their badges and they want to get into my suite. No chance. There's no chance. But nobody can. I mean,
Right,
the chief can.
The fire
city manager. No.
Public safety guys.
Yeah. If they're going to save my life, yes, you're,
Right.
you're welcome.
Right.
But anybody else, no.
That's wild. I mean, I guess I never really knew that on council. I just, when I was elected, I came in and I just kind of like slipped right in behind everybody else. And they were just like, this is the way we do this.
Right.
And whenever I got out of line, I got, come here, new guy. You need to understand what's going on. Like when I voted against the VRE parking garage. That didn't make me a lot of friends.
You vote your conscience.
I did.
Conscience. Yeah.
I did.
You have to.
Well, the final vote, I was ignorant. I worked hard to understand it, but I just didn't love the idea.
Right.
But it was the right thing to do at the end of the day.
I had on school board, there were a lot of 6-1 votes.
Yeah.
I was the one.
You were the one?
There were 5-2 votes. I was the 2. But I felt confident that those 6 people or those 5 people know better than I do.
Yeah.
And so at that moment, that vote was now mine.
That's right.
It was 6-1, and I'm going to defend it to the death because that's my team.
Yeah.
I'm not the school board. I'm 1/7. And what the school board decided, I went along with.
Yeah.
When it came back to reelection, if I was right, which I wasn't normally right, the school calendar. I didn't like the school calendar, starting school so early.
Right.
I think it might have been me and one other person voted against it. I still think I was right because now they've changed. Now they've started going a little bit further.
Yeah. They're like start back in June or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when Hal took over as mayor, he had to say that a lot. Like, guys, you got to remember, the vote happened. The council has spoken.
Yep.
This is the city's policy. You may or may not love it. You may or may not have to defend it. But this is the policy, and that's that.
Right.
And, I think that the council had a tradition of that. But then when I was elected, I was 39, and the rest of those guys were 60.
Our age.
Yeah, our current age. That's exactly right. And, it was just hard sometimes trying to to understand what was going on, because there was no real onboarding.
Right.
You know,
No.
you went and met with the department heads, but
Yep.
but that really was about it.
Mhm.
Like, you know, here's the chief of police, Chief
Right.
Skinner, who just scowls at you, and
that's right.
you kind of do what he says.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Chief Keem now, you know, I don't work for him. When he was city manager, I don't work for him.
Right.
But when he asked something, I mean, and it was never egregious. If it was egregious, I would not have done it.
Right.
But you betcha, Chief.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And that's the other thing. There's a lot of commissioners. We are constitutional officers. I
Right.
do not work for the city council.
Right.
I work for the people that vote for me. I'm the same as they are. In my office, I can do what I want. I run it the way I see fit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to use HR. I don't have to do any of those sort of things. I'd be crazy if I didn't.
Yeah, you're not going to do
There-
HR yourself, are you?
Oh, there's commissioners that do.
Really?
Yes.
What a pain in the neck.
And not only that, but you're not part of the team.
Yeah.
You know, I don't work for city council, but I will work my butt off for you,
Yeah.
you know, to help you along.
Sure.
I've changed some things when I first got on. So I'm put in January of 2022,
Right.
pandemic. Car values are through the roof. I go to city council in April, and I tell them I believe used cars are going to be going up 20 to 25%. I suggest that you can lower your tax rate from 360 to 295,
Right.
and then you can raise it back up after
Sure.
this goes by. Sorry, the General Assembly has given us the ability to do that.
Right.
They had the Dillon rule. They had to tell us we could do that we could lower it below our general rate. Okay. They decided not to. And they decided not to because our car rate is rather low for this state, rather low for Northern Virginia.
Right.
Damn. Our real estate rate is rather high.
Yeah.
So they took, you know, we can balance this out. We'll take 3 cents off the real estate rate and leave personal property where it is, which on paper, I mean, that makes all the sense in the world. You know, we have our car rate is low, our real estate is high. Let's lower the real estate rate.
Right.
Then the bills came out and everybody lost their mind. And, you know, I was asked, you know, why didn't we know about this? April 13th, 7 minutes into the meeting, I suggested you lower your tax rate because this is going to happen.
Right.
And so we had to refund 15%.
Right.
A major pain, especially
I'm
in
sure.
your first year.
Yeah.
But they decided against it, and nobody suggested lowering the car tax, none of them. And so they didn't. And
They got chewed up.
so what I've done since then is what the way it's always been done, always, is that we have to import every car, 30-some thousand cars. And it doesn't get done until the beginning of July from the following year.
Right.
You know, what you owned on January 1, things change. There are so many
Yeah.
cars that change hands that it all changes. Well, I decided to try and send in our file in March as is, and we're knowing it's going to change a bunch
Mm-hmm.
by July. But you don't know what our car values are until July. You have to
Right.
set your tax rate and your budget, you know, in April,
Right,
May.
right.
And so we did it. And I'm thinking, oh God, I hope this is close, because I reported what the number was.
Right.
It was within $30,000. So we have changed our format. So my first year I come in and that just, you know, hits me like a ton of bricks.
Right.
Like it was my fault that the car values went up.
Right.
But then they dropped. So we were pretty much okay from the going forward. And now it's gone back. We still do that. We still send in the file early,
Yeah.
and get a rough number. When I tell council that's a rough number, it can change. It is going to change. But at least they have a better idea of what it's going to be,
Right.
which is not as important as it was in 22. That would have been the year to do it. But you know,
Hindsight.
my first year, and I did tell them it was going up 25%. And I think the revenue came in so high because people in 21 were still buying new cars.
Yeah.
And so when they bought a new car for $60,000, that bumped up the city's revenue
Right.
the following year.
Right.
But yeah, I wish they'd have followed what I had said to lower it to 295. But I completely understand why they didn't. I can, Lynn Forkel Green, she's the only one that when Pam was running the meeting because the mayor wasn't there, and she said, all right, 360 is our tax rate for the personal property. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah, fine. And Lynn said, well, I would have preferred to have a little bit of a hybrid to lower both tax rates, but I'm fine with Mr. Wolf's proposal to leave it the way it was.
Right.
That was the only thing anybody ever said about lowering the tax rate. And then some of them said, well, I don't remember you telling me. Okay, well, I don't know what else to do. So the other thing I've done when something like that happens, I make sure that I put it in writing and send it to them as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't that time. I did not put it in writing.
Yeah.
That they should lower the tax rate. I gave them all the numbers in writing.
Right.
But not that they should lower the. They have. No, I didn't even say you should. I said you can. I also suggested we can lower the assessment. That has to be an agreement. They can lower you. You can lower the tax rate. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
The assessment, I'll work with you on it. But that other jurisdictions were lowering the assessments.
That doesn't seem like a great idea.
Well, we're supposed to tax on fair market value.
Right.
But I guess what we're supposed to do is assess on fair market value. So if you assess a car at $10,000 and then take 20% off to tax it, you still assessed it at fair market. Yeah, that your face, you just
playing games,
and I didn't want to do that. But I said, but I would willing to do that with you if you want to lower the assessments for this year.
Yeah,
a percentage, we can do that. And nobody stepped up to that one either.
I mean, it happens. I remember those meetings with the Commissioner of Revenue being long and intense because John at the time had a lot of education. He had to put a lot of energy into educating the council,
right?
For the first couple of years, because it was me and Avani elected that one year, and I didn't know. I mean, I understand corporate finance. Municipal finance is entirely different,
right? And
so he had a kind of a hill to climb for the first couple of years, and trying to adjust the different taxes and stuff like that.
Same thing on school board.
Yeah.
No, the government finance is a lot different. Yeah. And so that actually helped me in this position. Again,
I bet.
The experience there. Farm finance didn't help me a whole lot. But, and the farm, go back to the farm, I'd still go out about once a week and have lunch. And, I saved all my signs from my last election. And I was smart enough to put vote Demeria and not elect. So I could still use them. Right. Well, they're out at the farm. My snowblower's out at the farm. My wheelbarrows. I got so much crap out at the farm that, I got to go out all the time to get, I'm working on something. I got to run out to the farm. Right. Yeah. So thankfully we haven't sold the farm and Jay is still there. And so all my stuff is still there.
So how often does the city reassess real estate?
Yearly. Every year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because aren't there longer, possibility for longer cycles or something? Yeah.
They some counties, the cities can't, but some counties, they go up to 6 years.
Wow.
And I was talking to an assessor, and he was saying that, the values in such and such a county are going up 110%. And I said, and that's, you think that's going to bump up revenue? Well, it's simple. You just lower your tax rate by, by half or 50%, but they don't. Right. And so
talk about torches and pitchforks.
Yeah, absolutely. And but that's what I always say. People say, "Well, my taxes went up because your assessment went up." No, because your assessment. I deal in facts. The fact is that your house is now worth this.
Right.
And then the opinion is, how much money do we need to run this city? That's council's opinion, how much they need.
Right.
And so they set the tax rate at that.
That's right.
So your tax rate Not lowering your tax rate is why your taxes went up, not the assessment.
Yeah.
So, and you want your assessment to go up. You absolutely do. I want my assessment to go up and my tax rate to go down.
I'll tell you though, for what my house is assessed for, I would not buy my own house.
Somebody will.
Somebody will.
Somebody will.
Yeah, a house around the corner from me sold for over $600K.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, it's a nice house.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but they put some money into it. But when I heard that number, I was just like, I don't know, like people, maybe like a lot of people that have owned a house for 20 some years, they're like, I paid $139,000 for this house, and I can't believe it's worth $600 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But it is. You put it on the market, it's going to go.
Yeah,
I did. We're in 25 right now, so it was in 23. I took every sale in the city, compared to the assessed value. Every 90. Don't quote me on this. 92, 93% of every sale was higher than the assessed value. And of those other ones that weren't, there's extenuating circumstances. Who they sold it to, the condition of the house, and when we assess a house, if you've redone the kitchen without a permit and finished the basement without a permit, we don't know.
Right.
So we're assessing it on what we know.
Right.
We're not anticipating anything. We're not anticipating that the values are going to go up. So we're going to assess it a little bit higher. No, it's January 1 of 2025, what we believe, what market shows that house is worth.
Right.
And it's kind of like the Price is Right. We want to get as close to that value without going over.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want to do is be over and somebody, sell their house and it's $30,000 less for no reason.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to get beat up with that.
No. Well, and I don't want to cheat anybody.
No.
It's all about being fair and equitable. And so we're very careful that way. And it all depends on what we know, because, an appraiser, they'll come in and appraise a house and say, well, you assessed it at $500,000. It's worth $650,000. And people will scream, if you would have assessed that at $650,000, you'd have gotten more. I didn't know what was in the house.
Right.
I didn't know they finished the basement. I didn't know they've got marble floors.
Right.
I don't know any or hardwood floors or whatever else they've done.
Right.
We assess on what we know. And when you sell it, we are on MLS and we're looking to see what and you're going to
update.
It's going to go update.
An arm's length transaction is what the house is worth.
That's exactly right.
So when people disagree with their assessment, they can appeal that, right?
Several ways. They can call the assessor. That's the first thing you do. And there's plenty of times they'll call the assessor and say, you say I've got A and B, but I've only got A in this house.
Right.
And the assessor will go out and look, you're right. And we'll lower it.
And figure it out.
Yeah. And those are the easy ones. And then the next way they can do it is a formal one to the assessor. Some of it is just a phone call and it works. Right. And then then you can appeal to the Board of Equalization. Like I say, we haven't lost any of those cases since I've been on. And then
that's like you go and present your case.
Yep.
And
we present our case. And they are people in the business.
Right.
And neighbors, and they're the city of Manassas residents.
Okay.
And they're either real estate agents or finance people or something.
They understand what they're doing.
Yeah. And then the last is a circuit court.
How many people go that route?
So far it's 0 for me.
That seems like it's a lot.
It would be, but you've got 3 years to do that.
Wow.
The calling our assessors, you've got a month.
Right.
BOE, you've got another month, and then that's it. We're done. Then you have to go to circuit court. But I don't want to give anybody ideas, but if it's, we're going to get it right.
Yeah.
And so we're stringent on our dates because we can't have people coming in July saying no. And we've already sent out the bills and,
right.
We'll fix it for you next year. We'll be happy to. But and the thing is with the circuit court, we have to be real careful not to go too high, because I've had some people say, well, why don't you just encourage people to appeal? Right. And if they don't appeal, then you're bringing in more revenue.
Right.
Again, my goal is not to bring in more revenue.
Yeah, no.
My goal is to get it right.
Yeah.
And if we did something like that with let's say a data center, And, we bumped that up so much. It's, everybody said we didn't get anything out of it. We've gotten over $1 million a year out of it in revenue.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's probably going to go up now that we know more about what's in there. But on January 1, we didn't know what was in there.
Danica told me she's going to
I hope so.
Get involved with trying to rectify that bank exemption.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, because that's an obvious, it's just a, it got left. That law got left on the shelf somewhere, and no one wasn't a lot of heat and light there.
Right.
And then somebody, smart figured out, if we do this and we put a bank in there,
well,
the bank gets the break.
The bank gets a break.
Yeah.
The people that own the data center don't.
No, they don't.
They're paying $1 million in taxes a year. But the bank is also, they cannot do other banks in there. They cannot keep any other information in there other than their own.
Right.
They have to own all of the equipment in there. They cannot lease it.
Yeah.
If they lease it, it's taxable.
Yeah.
But they don't lease it.
Yeah.
And they made sure of that.
Sure.
And this bank that's in there is big enough to where they need their own data center.
Right.
But they're also, I don't think it's full, and they may be putting other people in there. And if they've put other people in there since January 1, they're not taxable until next year. So
that's so crazy the way Virginia does that.
Well, that's, we don't prorate anything either in Manassas.
Why don't we do that?
Well, for one thing, it's a tax increase. Because we would gain revenue if we did that.
Right. But the stuff is here.
But if you're gaining revenue, you're increasing people's taxes.
Yeah.
So it's a tax increase. And I'd probably have to hire at least 1 or 2 more people.
Is that right?
No place to put them, for one thing, in our new city
wait a minute.
hall.
We just redid that city hall.
And then I'm full. Every chair I've got is full.
I bet. So it would increase the workload in the office.
Exponentially.
Is that
That's
right?
a good word.
It is a good word.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you pulled that out.
We're in high school, baby. And it is a tax increase. And people complain that, I sold that car in March. Why am I paying for it?
Right.
Because you owned it January 1.
Right.
But that new Suburban you paid $80,000 for, you're not paying tax on that till next year.
Right.
So it's saving you money.
I see. I don't think I ever had that question when I was on council. I don't know.
Most jurisdictions do not prorate.
Is that right?
Yeah, we don't prorate in Virginia. You are Dillon rule. You have been given the ability to prorate, but you have to pass legislation in your jurisdiction.
You have to update the charter, or the council?
No, the council could do it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wouldn't mind hiring more people, but they'd have to find some place for me to put them.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth it. And it is a tax increase.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, I honestly didn't know. It doesn't. I mean, I guess probably it's always been that way. So it never occurred to me that it could be a different way.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Well, that's the other. What I'd like to think of something that just happened, and that's not the way they do it somewhere else.
Right.
And my problem was, that's the way it's always done.
Right.
I've never been anywhere else, Andy.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
The only thing that I know is different. Is, we owned a house in West Virginia,
right,
for my daughter to go to school at, and the way they do our veterans. Get into this a little bit. It kind of gets me in trouble when I'm talking about veterans sometimes, but the state passed a law that veterans disabled veterans, 100% permanent and totally disabled, are exempt from property tax.
Right.
I've got no problem with that.
Right.
My problem with that is the way it's paid by jurisdictions.
What do you mean?
Well, Stafford, if you lived in Stafford, $400 of your real estate taxes on your house, on average, go to veterans.
The state doesn't pay it?
No, we do.
But
in Manassas,
this is one of the things.
In Manassas, it's $80 per parcel.
Right.
We've got a county, I'm not going to name them, further south, $7 is their average what they pay for their disabled veterans.
Right.
Our disabled veterans deserve everything they got coming to them.
Yeah.
But why does somebody living in Stafford pay more than the one in Manassas, which pays more than the one in Southwest Virginia.
Yeah.
It should be, if it's a state thing, it's one of those things.
The state
and
should-
you understand this
Right.
better than most, being a local government guy.
Right.
It's a state unfunded mandate.
Yeah.
Here's a great idea. Let's let them not pay their local taxes.
Right.
And I'm all for it. What they do in West Virginia is the disabled veteran has to pay those. Then when they fill out their state income tax, they owe $4,000 in state income tax at
Right.
the end.
And then they take.
And then they minus my $3,500.
See, that's
I
the way
pay
to do it.
$500.
That's
and
the
the
way to
state
do it.
pays it. And that's the next best thing. The real best thing is that the damn federal government takes care of our veterans
Well,
the way they should.
But
So that I don't have to send money to the wounded warriors, watching TV,
Right.
feeling guilty as hell.
Right.
And I'm sending money for a guy that has no legs,
Right.
and then the other thing they did with this, they put no parameters on it. So you can be a very rich disabled veteran, and you have to make less than $60,000 to get relief as an elderly person in Manassas.
Right.
Disabled veteran, if they're still working, they can make $100 million and they still don't pay their real estate
Right.
tax. And, I think sometimes that's wrong, that, they really don't need that. But then we got a guy down in, I won't say the county, but he's a friend of the commissioner down there. And he is a disabled veteran, can't walk.
Right.
Brilliant lawyer, he says. Makes money hand over fist, $1 million home. And when he goes golfing, he has to have a machine pick him up so he can swing that club. And it's like, yeah, give him the exemption too. Holy smokes! These guys have done so much for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just wish the federal government would do it, and if the state, and it was a great idea for the state to do it.
Yeah. No, it's great.
But let the state pay for
The
it.
state's got a bad habit of doing that.
Yes, they do.
They
Well,
did
we
that.
know that.
They created that line of death duty deal, and when I was on council, they were busy just about every year hanging a new benefit on it, and it was a state thing, and it was a state thing, and it was a state thing, and then it wasn't a state thing, and it fell to the localities to pay for it.
Yep.
And I mean, we're kind of in the weeds on public policy here, but it's a big deal when the state decides to obligate funds to do something, worthy things.
Very worthy.
Disabled veterans property tax
Absolutely.
credit. That should be a thing. But if the state says I'm going to do it, then the state should figure out how to fund it
Right.
instead of sending the bill
Yes.
to
Well,
locals.
it's about everything between school board and city council. Unfunded mandates drive us nuts. And one of the best things about me being being a commissioner for me is being the chairman of the Veterans Committee,
Right.
because there's so many different things that come up. And this committee, all we do is look for ways to get that veteran exempt,
Right.
and because they deserve it.
They do.
It's just that
They do.
Stafford doesn't deserve to pay as much as they do. You ready for this one? 9% of Stafford's real estate revenue is exempt for disabled veterans.
Wow.
9%. They're number one in the state. And then you got the down in Hampton Roads and stuff.
Sure.
There's the big numbers too, but
Sure.
not as high as Stafford. Stafford's number one,
Yeah. The state.
9%.
The state. I remember one of the education things. Didn't the state tell you guys you had to fund like financial literacy or something when you were on school board? And they basically passed a law and said, you guys have to do this. Thanks. And it fell to us
Oh yeah,
to figure out how to pay for it.
I don't remember that one particularly, but all the time,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And when we go down in January, I don't talk about it as much because the veterans relief, I administer it,
Right.
and I'm happy to give it to our guys.
Sure.
The fact that it's coming from the localities, that's the council's job.
Yeah.
It irks me, but
Yeah.
that I don't discuss that with my legislators down there.
No.
Because that's up to Mayor Michelle and all of them, Mark, to do that.
Right.
That's their thing. I don't do policy, but as a citizen, and knowing that it's not equitable, and my job is equitable.
Yeah.
Everything we do has got to be fair.
Yeah.
And if you look at the bigger picture, it's not fair that Stafford resident pays $400 and the other county pays $7
Yeah.
a year
Yeah.
of their property taxes to fund,
It's
fund
a
these
lot.
guys and the guys deserve it.
Yeah, they deserve it. And if the state decides it should be a thing, then the state should pay for it.
Absolutely. And, but so when I used to go down and lobby as a school board member, the school board association would have all of these things, and I'd highlight them. And the last thing I'd say is just don't mandate something that you're not going to pay for.
Yeah.
If you want it, that's great. That's grand. Some of it might be worth doing. Pay for it.
Yeah, that on our side, the big thing was the machinery and tools tax.
Yeah.
Because there got to be a big debate about because Micron, was pushing to have it repealed, and the city would lose, what was it, $5 or $6 million a year, and this is back when that was an important number for the city.
Yeah.
Because our general fund budget was $50 million, something like that. So that was a big number, and there was a big push to repeal M&T or somehow overhaul it, and everyone knows what that means.
Yeah.
Reduce,
Right.
Or cap it or something, and it just the city, all of our deals with the various M&T payers, and any sort of incentives we provided or stuff are kind of based on having that M&T revenue. And
Sure.
our thing was like, look, just don't. We can't get rid of this.
Right.
We can't just you can't just show up in the middle of March and say, oh, by the way, this isn't a thing anymore.
Right.
And it upends the apple cart so many ways, just like it does for the schools with unfunded stuff.
Yeah. Well, the car tax, everybody, axe the tax. Let's get rid of the car tax. Get rid of it. That's easy for you people to say.
Yeah.
I was talking to a legislator, not one of mine,
Right.
but I'll talk to anybody when I'm down there, believe it or not. And we were talking about the stickers on your license plates, getting rid of those, and only using license plate readers for the cops to see if you're up to date on your registration.
Right.
And it would save, I can't remember the number, so I'm going to throw one out there. So let's say $5 million at the DMV not to issue those things.
Right.
Well, for the treasurer, which I'm getting into somebody else's business here, which I like to do, they use those stickers. They can put no registration on a car that owes taxes.
Oh, right.
And so then it's a stop. And so they have to pay their taxes before they can get their stickers. Well, if they don't need the sticker, they're not going to care.
No.
And it would take away a collection tool that we use. And the legislator said, well, how much do you think you bring in? I said, the whole state, I don't know, but it's millions and millions.
Right.
And you think it's over the 5 million. Let's just say it is 5 million. And he said, well, then it's just balanced out. And I said, no. You were never in local government, were you? You're taking local money to feed the state.
Right.
And I'd have to tell them, no, it's not the same. It's two different pockets.
Yeah.
It's not the same pocket.
This is our pocket.
Yes.
You stay in yours.
Yes. Again, out of my lane a little bit there
well, the city got rid of them, and people were like, well,
these are the stickers on the plates.
No. I'm talking about the windshield stickers.
Yeah.
I didn't love that.
That we got rid of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell if you don't have the sticker. If everybody doesn't do it,
right?
Yeah, then it doesn't work.
Right.
Because
then you're pulling people over that don't live in the jurisdiction.
What I'd like to get rid of, which again is not my bailiwick, I have to implement it, is the license fee. When you get your car tax, there's a license fee of $25 on there, which used to pay for the sticker.
Right.
We don't do the sticker anymore. And
but people have the license.
Yeah. You still have the license fee. And people come in and say, yeah, I understand why I'm paying this. Why am I paying this license fee?
Right.
It's a tough one for me to explain.
It's a great question.
And I do my best to defend city council and my team, because I want to work together. I don't push something else that, well, that's they're doing. They did that. Right. I want to be fair. And I have a real hard time explaining the license fee. So they tried to get rid of it this year, but it also brings in about $1 million.
Yeah, I mean
and that's
real
a
money.
big number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's real. It's. I mean, in the scheme of taxes, it's not a hell of a lot of money, but there's a lot of taxes that bring in just a little,
Right.
and when you pile those all up, that's how you pay for things.
Yeah, that's how you pay
the way
for
it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I hate those stickers and the inspect. The day I got elected to city council, I got pulled over and I got a ticket for dead tags, dead city sticker, and dead inspection. The day I got elected.
Are you old enough to remember? I don't think you are, because it was only a couple of years that I had to. Inspections were every 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. If I remember correctly. Yeah, we had to get them every 6 months.
Damn.
Way back in the 70s.
Anymore, it doesn't seem like it matters a lot.
Well, and it doesn't matter to you or I anymore. But when I was 16, you better inspect my vehicle, because there's chances it's going to fall apart going down the road.
Yeah.
These new cars, you come to a stop, and my daughter had a 2006 Prius. And the first time I'm driving it, I come to a stop sign, and they shut off, and it was an early one,
right?
2000, so it wasn't real smooth. Now it's real smooth the way they happen.
Yeah.
And the car shook and died. And it was like, oh my God, because I'm so used to having a foot on the brake and foot on the gas to keep that sucker running.
Right.
And it scared me half to death.
I bet.
So, yeah. But when you've got vehicles that you're barely able to keep running, you probably should inspect them.
Yeah.
But mine passed now without much issue.
No.
But back in the day, I was hoping they would get me whole. It was different.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a Jeep that's a bit of a hoopty. It's 10, 12 years old, something. It just passed inspection. I took it I don't know. There was some stuff that they complained about, and whatever. I got it fixed. That was kind of that. But
right.
Yeah, it's probably not as much of a thing up here as other parts of the state.
And emissions is a pain.
Yeah.
But you if you title your cars down at Colonial Beach, you wouldn't have to worry about it. But yeah, they don't have emissions. Us and Virginia Beach, I think, are the only, or not Virginia Beach, but the Hampton Roads area.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to have to deal with, I know the deal with the DMV here and the emissions thing, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Down at the beach, the government's a little different. Yeah. It looks like Manassas government looked like 25 years ago. 25 years ago, the elections here were essentially nonpartisan. There was only one party, the Republican Party.
Yep.
We were happy to have Democrats run as Republicans.
Yeah.
And down there, I think it's nonpartisan. You still have people saying, well, this person is actually a Democrat or actually a Republican or whatever.
Right.
But it reminds me a lot of, government here 25 years ago.
Well, most of the constitutional officers run nonpartisan.
Yeah.
They run independent. And I would love to run independent. But the way it's done here, I believe every Republican would vote for my opponent, and not every Democrat would vote for me, because they don't know who the hell the commissioner of the revenue is.
No,
most people they wouldn't vote.
Most people don't know what it is.
No, hell, we knew about it because we were in government.
Well, yeah,
but before that, I didn't. No chance that I knew what the heck it was.
No,
and the name doesn't help it in the least.
Yeah,
we're the commissioner of the assessments.
Yeah.
That's our biggest thing, and then we sell business licenses and stuff like that too. But, and somebody on your podcast, I can't remember who, was talking about it, and they said, about me, and that, but where's the revenue? I don't get revenue. I don't see revenue. The revenues are in our name, but I got nothing to do with that.
The treasurer.
That's the treasurer. And the city council, they can decide what the revenue happens.
Yeah.
I don't see the revenue. That's the other thing, all these corrupt politicians that are lining their pockets. I don't know about you, but I never figured out how to line my pocket.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell this story until hell won't have it. When people talk about, oh, you made the big dollars, or, you look at what the current council is doing and they want to double their salary. And again, I'm kind of an arm's length with all that.
Me too.
So I don't know what the hell happened with it. But I never, along with you, I never really figured out where all of that money went, because I'll tell you, when I was on council, they had a big, ambitious design for that area out there where they built that little hotel with the learners,
Mm-hmm.
the people that own the baseball team,
Right.
the billionaires. I went to lunch with these people. I had to pay for my own damn hamburger. Okay.
That's why they're rich and we're not. Yeah.
I mean, there was just no chance that you were going to allow yourself to be put in a position where you're like, well, you're going out and having these fancy dinners. We didn't have fancy dinners. We went to Okrus for lunch.
Right.
And that was that. And I paid for mine. And the people across the table from me were making millions of dollars. And I am a nerd running a consulting firm in Manassas, making $12,000 in the city council.
That's right.
So yeah, I along with you and a lot of other people, I never figured out how to line my pockets.
Yeah. Well, that's probably also because we never looked.
No.
God, no. That's not why I'm doing this.
No.
No, I love doing this. And you say you ate at Okrus. I remember when I was running the limousine service out of Aero Travel Agency, and I'd go very early to the airport. I'd take a run before Uber and everything else when IBM was here, and they had to have rides to the airport because they traveled all the time. And they had people that left at 6 a.m.
Right.
And being that guy, I'm taking that run before I go to the office.
Sure.
So I would take that run, especially if they were a good tipper, and come back, park the car at Aero, and then walk down to the downtowner or whatever we were calling it at the time, and have breakfast. And then at lunch, I'd go up and put my clothes at Poppy's at the cleaners,
Right.
and go over to third base.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a throwback.
Yeah. And I'd eat lunch at third base restaurant.
I loved Okrus because I would always get the gumbo.
It's so good, wasn't it?
Well, it was excellent, and it was kind of light and fast. And I didn't have to. That became honestly like my other than people that came to my office to meet me. I didn't love that back then. I didn't want to confuse anything, so Okrus kind of became my city council office at lunchtime.
Yeah,
that's where I met other council members and the mayor. People that wanted to talk about things, you go to talk to developers. You want to hear them out.
Sure.
What are you thinking? And well, I'm thinking I love that idea. Or no, I think this is horrible.
Yeah.
That was kind of the city council office for a number of years.
Well, you didn't have as many choices then either.
No. I mean, the Loom or the other things none of that stuff. Yeah. None of that stuff was there.
Have you been in Loom?
Once.
Yeah.
Once.
It's pretty tasty.
I don't go out to eat a whole lot.
Well, you cook.
I cook, but
I do not.
My problem is we do. We cook a lot at home.
Yeah.
Lunchtimes, but lunchtime it's got to be fast.
Yeah.
And I'm over here on the other side of town now.
Yeah.
So I've got Kim's. I've got his taco place,
La
China, and then
they are good there.
La China's fantastic.
Oh my God,
Antonio's done a great job.
Yes, he has. He's a spectacular man.
He is,
and they are so good in there. Yeah. And it's the old Highs, right?
Yeah.
People, where Highs was.
Yeah.
No. Oh, shoot.
No.
Yeah, across from Southern States.
Yeah.
So most of them
people
remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's you got La China and then the diner. The pizza place is still there over there next to the brewery. That's about it.
Yeah.
And most days it's Kim's because I have things to do.
Yep.
But again, I walk right in front of what used to be that 7-Eleven when we were in Demolay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And that's just, even some of the stepping stones are still there.
Is that right?
Yeah. It weirds me out every time. Literally every time.
Yeah. For lunch, I usually go home. And, especially when I've got my bike. The chief told you I got an electric bike now. And,
oh, yeah?
Yeah. And, I wanted to get in my Jeep again, that I had in high school. And I wanted to get an old Jeep.
Right.
But I'm not on the farm anymore every day. And so I don't have the ability to be fixing it all the time.
Right.
And that's what I'd have to do if I had a 1978 Jeep CB7.
100%. That's money pit.
Yeah, but it's
or
fun.
a labor bill.
I enjoy it,
Yeah.
but I'm not out there enough.
Yeah.
But then I got this bike, and I have to remember not to pedal on the way to work because you end up sweating,
Yeah.
and it'll go 26 miles an hour without pedaling.
Damn.
So don't pedal, stupid.
Right.
Yeah, but I can get up there faster.
Right.
So on the way home, I pedal a lot, and but otherwise, and it's kind of taken the Jeep thing out of the
equation.
yeah, because it's so much fun riding that bike without pedaling. And I've only crashed it once, nearly destroyed my knee, but and that's because I was going too fast around the corner because I was riding it like I was 16 years old.
Right. Like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and but it's great. It's a big, heavy bike, and the best part of my day is going to work and going home for lunch and then going home after work.
Yeah, I ride my road bike still, but not nearly as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I just picked it up again about a month ago, and I'm getting a couple rides a weekend, but that's about it. I mean, right now I'm really stretched for time.
Yeah.
In business, it's really taking up a lot of time. It goes up and down over the years, but right now it's very active. It needs a lot of my attention. So I don't get down to the beach very. My daughter is taking over the house for this week, and she and a bunch of her friends are down there. So
good for her.
Yeah. I mean, it's been cloudy, but it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think they're supposed to be spectacular. So
Good.
as long as the hurricane behaves itself.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll be able. 'Cause I got up yesterday morning. It was a little bit cool on Monday when I rode the bike, and it was a little bit chilly on the way in. So
Yeah.
I put on one of my cover-ups. It's an Osborne cover-up, believe it or not.
Right.
And walked out back to get the bike. Well, so it's raining. It wasn't supposed to rain. And it's not like when I was on the farm to where my entire life was based on the weather.
Right.
Because that was horrendous when your livelihood depends on whether it's going to rain or not.
Sure.
And your physical ability to walk depends on that, because irrigation on the farm, we had everything was irrigatable. Right. But manual. It was so much manual labor to move pipe and stuff like that. And it's just the two of us. It is so much work. But now I don't have to do that. So I still watch the weather somewhat, but not like I did. And I don't know the last time I was mad that it was raining. And then this morning it was raining again. So I couldn't ride the bike because I was excited to ride it over here and show Andy my bike. You didn't. No. But it's nice now. I look out there, it's sunny.
It seems like it's picking up.
Yeah.
This morning was just wet enough to be annoying.
Yes.
And you weren't going to ride to work. And sometimes I'll ride a mountain bike here or I'll walk, but that depends on having free time. And those days currently, I mean, hell, I haven't been to the gym in 2 weeks. I don't have the time.
Yeah, I haven't been to the gym in probably pushing 2 decades. Well,
my gym is right there.
Well, and it's so, I was telling somebody this morning, or yesterday maybe, I was moving something. It's nothing for me to move that. I'm
strong guy.
I can move anything.
Yeah.
No, not after being off the farm for 3.5 years. I mean, when you're at the farm, you get farm strong and you move stuff and you're pulling wrenches and you're doing everything and you're moving pipe and it just never ends.
Right.
And now for 3.5 years, it's ended.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just not nearly as strong as I used to be.
No.
Which is okay. I don't care anymore.
Well, real physical labor is a lot different than even going to the gym.
Oh, absolutely.
I was in a stretch for probably the last 3 years where, I've been a bit of a gym rat, and
that's good.
I go 3 or 4 times a week, and on my off days I was running, and my daughter asked me to help her move out of her storage space to her apartment. Brother, that's real work.
That's real work. Yeah, and it hurts more because you're not squared up.
Right.
You're not doing it correctly.
Right.
And I didn't do anything correctly for 38 years on that farm.
Right.
And it's just so different now.
Yeah, it fed me a bit of humble pie.
Yeah, and I don't mind.
No.
I don't need to be strong. I wish I wasn't as big.
Yeah.
Like you. having known you for so long, we've always done weight.
Yeah.
Up and down,
Yeah.
up and down.
Yeah.
And when I was 280, it was like, oh my God, that's 4 people.
Yeah.
And then I've lost hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
As you have.
Yeah.
When you get, and then that's not good for you either.
Yeah. I mean, I've managed to, when I finally got to right about 300 pounds, my blood sugar got out of control. And so I lost about 70 pounds. And that's got to be 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, I was about 230, and now I'm about 200. And
that's great.
That's the weight I walked out of high school with, 200 pounds.
I found my junior program.
Yeah.
For football, 5'8", 155. Yeah. I was definitely a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was 6'2", 280.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I feel like when I got to know you, you were bigger than.
Yeah. Oh, it was right after high school.
Yeah.
Right after I played football. After I tell people the same thing. When I was on the team, I was on the sideline.
Right.
They didn't let me in the game.
Right.
I wasn't, people say, did you play football? No, but I was on the team.
Right.
And I've been there for 40 years. I'm still on the sideline. And the same play, I'm playing the same position I did when I was in high school.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But who knows what would happen if I'd have grown when I was
younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah. I just did like lots of land surveying and construction and crap like that. And, that's why I wake up at 5 a.m. I learned that habit then, and it's just
hard to get out of.
Never really changed.
Yep. I set my alarm for like 7 o'clock. And I never see that alarm. No.
The only time, there's 2 times I set alarms. If I've got to fly, go to the airport at 5 a.m. or something crazy, or if I'm traveling.
Yeah.
And usually I still beat it, but if I'm, on the West Coast and it's 3 hours different,
I'm screwing you up.
I'm going to need an alarm.
Yeah. I set it every night just in case.
Do you?
Yeah, because I don't want to be late. That's, my dad was late all the time.
Is that right?
All the time. Always. And except for work.
Right.
And I hated it. I hated waiting for him.
Yeah.
So I don't want people waiting for me.
Yeah.
And my mom always said, if you're 10 minutes early, you're on time. Yeah. But if you're on time, you're late.
You're like that. Yeah.
That's right. That's what she used to say all the time. And so I try to live by that.
Yeah.
So I get to, and there was a time when we were over at the DMV still, when I first started. Oh my God, is it Saturday? I get there, there's nobody there. And I thought, oh my God. So I pick up the phone and, no, it's 6:30 in the morning, you idiot. Because what's really nice is getting up and not having to be there so early. And it took me a long time to make it to where I'm getting there at 8:15 or 8:20.
Right.
Because I would always get there at 7:30. And, especially there's not much to do at that time. There's no customers yet. There's nobody to help with anything. And so it took me a long time to learn to kick around a little ways. But it's really nice getting up in the morning and not looking at the clock and then just going. And you're always on time. I'm usually
here by about 8:15, but I start work at about 6.
Right.
I just do it from home.
Yeah.
But over the years, I also find that, you know what? I'm just going to have another cup of coffee. I'm going to leave my laptop and I'm just not doing it.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem is when I get up real early and I get everything ready and then I sit down and watch the news, I set an alarm on my phone.
Oh, do you?
Well, because I'm old and and I'm very much like my father about falling asleep, because I'll sit there and watch the news and fall asleep.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
My dad.
I'm not tired, but I'd fall asleep and then the alarm would go off and I'd jump up. Oh, shit.
I have a picture of my dad. Like we would have, they would have parties, and back in the 70s, those were, people from your neighborhood. They walked
Right.
to the party, and my parents didn't have parties like tons, but they had probably 2 a year, and then someone else's turn, and we'd have. They had all the kids go upstairs. If the adults were like drinking, the kids went upstairs.
Right.
But so there'd be 30 people in the house, and someone took a picture of my dad like sitting in the couch. He's got his finger like running up his next to his ear, his head tilted over a little bit, out cold.
Absolutely.
There are people right next to him.
Yep.
That guy could fall asleep anywhere.
Yep, that's me.
It's unbelievable. No, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. It's like I have to prepare myself to fall asleep.
Right.
It's rare.
Well, we've been married 40 years, and Sue still asks me, "Do you mind if I watch TV when we go to bed?" Honey, it doesn't bother me in the least, because when I go to bed before her, which I used to do all the time,
Right.
I get up at 4:30,
Right.
and we're still in the same habit. I don't have any clothes upstairs. I don't have any toiletries. I get
It's
up,
all downstairs.
grab because I go downstairs at 6:30 at 4:30 in the morning. 'Cause
Right.
I can't wake her up.
Right.
And so all my clothes and stuff are downstairs, and the nasty shower,
Yeah.
because I wasn't allowed to shower where the girls and she showers, because when I was at the farm, it was disgusting.
Right. Sure.
And, or we've always all done our own laundry,
Yeah.
because I wasn't allowed to mix my laundry with their stuff, because
Right.
it smelled like diesel.
Yeah.
Everything, no matter what it was, it smelled
Right.
like diesel.
I get it.
So yeah, but we've been married 40 years, and she still says, can I watch TV? Honey, I'll fall asleep, no problem.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about me, because I go to bed with the lights on so she can see when she comes upstairs. Because there's sometimes I go to bed at 8:30.
Right.
Because you had a hard day and you're getting up at 4:30.
But I mean, when I get up early and I'm going to the gym, I'm there at 5:30.
Yeah, I love it though.
I
I get
love
so
it.
much done in the morning.
And you get up and you're dragging ass. And then when you get out of the gym and you're done, you're like, man, I crushed it.
Yeah,
And it's always worth it.
in the morning,
Yeah.
going in early in the farm and getting in the harvester after 2006, when we got the automatic harvester, or 2004. And starting at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and none of those damn customers are coming in.
Right.
They don't come in till 6:30 or 7.
Right.
And you get so much done.
Yeah.
If you didn't have to worry about customers, you could get so much done.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You still need them desperately.
Yeah.
But it's like, don't come in here yet. Let me get ahead of you, because we always harvested everything fresh that day. We
Right.
never sold day old stuff.
Right. Right.
It was that day.
Right.
So it was
All right, man.
time. Have we been on a while?
Well, we've been at it for 90 minutes.
Oh shit!
It goes a lot faster than you think.
Yeah, well, especially if I'd have seen you every day for the last 6 months, it might have been different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah,
Well, hey,
this
look,
was
thanks
nice.
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, keep
I
doing
hope you
this.
enjoyed it. Yeah, brother.
I appreciate you.
I